Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Necro Thursday. And of course, this is the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast. How's it going, Mike?
It is going well. As we tape this, kids, it is St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day to the listeners, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you, my partially Irish friend.
That's right. I am partially Irish. Yeah.
We both are. Yes,
Top of the
yes.
morning to you guys.
Hmm,
um,
exactly.
yeah, man. It's if any of you guys are wondering where Jeff is, he's still around. He's moved. He's in the process of relocating right now. So, he'll be he's on a little bit of a hiatus till he gets his shit together. So
Yeah,
he's around. He'll be coming back, but he's got a lot of logistics he's dealing with right now. So just to let you guys know.
exactly. And thank you for if anyone has, written in asking about Jeff. That's kind of you to notice his absence, of course.
Yeah,
And we appreciate all the support. And we're one big happy family here at the Necromaniacs podcast.
definitely. Have
Mm.
you checked out anything interesting, Mike?
Um, White Lotus. Caught up on White Lotus last night. Um, yeah. Let's see. Incest. Gay incest on the bingo
Creepy.
card, Michael. What are your
Uh,
thoughts on that?
Very
Hmm.
creepy. I got to be honest with you, man. I feel like White Lotus has not been delivering the goods for me. Uh,
Hmm.
like a lot of, I feel like the story should have. I mean, I like a nice slow burn, but this is like too much build up, and I have a feeling it's going to be disappointing.
Well, yeah, it was another build-up episode. I got it's three in a row essentially of like build-up episodes. Although last night of the last three episodes, I think last night for me was the most enjoyable.
Yeah.
Um, because it's full speed ahead now. But the thing is, this season in particular is darker in its tone, and it's more uh, sex is really, I think, at the forefront this time around, and it's almost like a bit more of a depressing season. Mike Hill, what do you think?
Yeah, you mentioned the sex part of it. The sex is more it's like a darker side of that. There's
Yeah.
like potential rape and incest
Mhm.
and weird infidelities, things like
Mhm.
that. So
Right,
that's
right.
definitely part of this. Oh, I have to mention a strong Sam Rockwell appearance.
Yes, like his whole moment added about being with trans women, and he himself going through it, and that was just wow. Like again, like it really kind of, sometimes HBO shows its dark side,
Yeah.
as an HBO viewer knows, and you and I have seen our share of HBO shows. Yeah, but this season in particular for White Lotus has gone a bit of a different route, and I actually think the creator mentioned early on that this season would be a bit like this. Um, Again, I'm on this interesting Facebook group that talks about it, and one person was just like, you know what, I this season has just not been for me. It's too depressing and downbeat and weird, and it's not what I kind of come to White Lotus for. But other people are really enjoying it. Me, I'm not enjoying it. Like I'm enjoying it, but I think I'm it's missing some of its more, I don't know, like a bit more of its lightheartedness that it generally has, I feel like. And I don't
Yeah.
think there's any of that coming. Like there's no more, there's like it's just gonna get like actually worse in the next three episodes, actually.
I mean, that's not really that's not my beef with it, really, is
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely been a little comedic elements, especially with Saxon, the
Yes. Yeah.
Schwarzenegger's character there.
Great character. Yeah. He's a good
Yeah.
actor too. Yeah.
But it's like the prolonging of this whole fucking story is starting to get on my nerves, man. And I mean, I am going
Mm.
to like reserve my final judgment of this thing till the end. Like I'm not going to tap out or anything, but it's like if it ends strong, then I'll be like, all right, totally worth it. But there's been moments which I really enjoyed. Like I said, the Sam Rockwell. Actually, interesting thing about that is like Sam Rockwell and Walton Goggins mostly known as being more lighthearted for lighthearted roles, like more comedic,
Right, right.
playing
Yeah,
it deadpan, and that's was awesome, I thought.
yes, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Like what's going to happen there. I think there's going to be multiple deaths here, Michael, not
Oh
just
yeah,
one death.
yeah,
We're looking at multiple deaths, actually.
I
So,
I agree. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's going to be
you know,
wild.
and what's going to happen to the that CEO type guy who's in
Hmm.
trouble with the FBI, and that's an interesting storyline. And like the three white women, like one of them, something's going to happen to one of them.
Yeah, something bad is going to happen to one of them. Absolutely. But again, I like it. It's just it's a little different this time around. And again, hoping for a really big finish, but it has gone through these kind of meandering moments. Like I find the daughter and the Buddhist monk thing to be completely, you know, pardon the pun, dead in the water. I'm
Yeah,
completely bored by her, and that storyline is very boring. Like that's such a big deal that she brought her family there because she wants to move there. Like that's a big devastating thing. Like it's not like,
yeah.
it's kind of like there's a million other things going on in the show that are way more interesting, you know?
I like the three Russian guys, particularly the one Brighton Beach looking dude. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah. I mean, again, there's a mystery element about who robbed the place. I have my ideas of who robbed the place, but again, a lot to talk about and a lot to unpack. And again, listeners, sorry for those who do not watch the non-horror show, The White Lotus, but Mike and I like many things.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something people are talking about. Have you checked out Righteous Gemstones?
No, I'm gonna probably bang out episodes 1 and 2 after we wrap today because I
Yeah.
wanted to do that last night and I was back on my Daredevil horse. I
Ah,
finished season 1 of the original Daredevil, which honestly it is literally up there with some of the greatest television I've ever seen. And I don't say that lightly. The 2015 season 1 Daredevil is just like clicks every single box for me personally. And I know from what I remember, season 2 and season 3, which I don't even think I saw, kind of are not as quality as season 1. But I'm in it for the long haul, and I'm not going to start Born Again until I finish seasons 2 and 3. So yeah.
I'll probably do the same thing at some point.
Mhm.
I definitely, I'm probably going to get. I don't. I tapped out on Disney Plus, so I don't have a membership anymore. So I might have to
Okay,
get that.
okay, it's kind of worth it, man. I can't remember how you are about Star Wars, but the Star Wars series are really good, like Andor, and I actually like the Mandalorian a lot. And there's a lot of like the ancillary stuff, which is a lot of fun for me as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, those are pretty good, I thought. I at some point I had like a one of these package deals with like ESPN,
Mhm.
Hulu, and Disney Plus. And then when Tina and I moved in, we just went. She had a Hulu membership, so I just gave up my package deal or whatever. So
Right.
I,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Totally,
Um,
totally.
yeah, for me, like I checked out Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde Saturday night at the Cemetery Cinema
Oh,
uh,
nice.
over in Coney Island. I think you and I spoke about that. That
Mhm.
was a really fun night out. Silent films don't always track very well with some people, but I enjoy the historical nature of watching these older films, in a setting
Sure.
like that. And Barron does a great job of curating these films, and there's a whole discussion about the movie afterwards, and then a scream contest, to see who has got the best scream. And
Uh,
just fun
how did that
times.
go?
Yeah, there were some really good screamers, man.
Mm,
Mostly, like these women with like very distressed style movie screams, you know. And
interesting.
it was
Hmm.
it was good. It was like authentic sounding screams.
Okay. I
Yeah,
like
so
that.
it was a lot of fun, and it's an early night too, man. It's like the whole thing's wrapped up by 10, and if you want to hang out at that, what's the name of that bar again? Like the So, I always
Side
forget.
Coney Island. I can't remember the name of the bar, but it's a part. It's a part of where they actually had the films, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's like the
Mhm.
area where the films are, which is like the theater, and then there's like the museum, and then there's like a tiny bar connected to it.
Mhm.
So if
Mm.
you want to hang out in the front afterwards or whatever. So we were with two of another couple that night, so we hung out in the bar for a little bit, and we went back to Jersey. But we were home by like 11:30. It was like an early night, you know.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Very
I mean,
cool.
like Coney Island's only like it's crazy how close I am. It's like it only takes me like 25 minutes to get there, so it's not too bad.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
Wow, I like
Yeah.
that.
But you know. Oh, aside from that, any Conan fans, Savage Sword of Conan #7 is out, which is
Mm.
important because Roy Thomas, the original scripter of the Conan comics from back in the 70s and early 80s, has written the entire issue 7 of Savage Sword of Conan.
I actually pre-ordered it, so I actually got mine already from an
Yep.
eBay seller.
Yeah.
But now there's a comic store in Bay Ridge, not too far away, that I
Oh,
signed up for,
cool.
where I'm going to get it, when it comes out, so I don't have to pay all the extra shipping money, to buy it
Yeah.
off an eBay seller. Um, and I had him order me. They had volume 3 of the regular new Conan relaunch and trade, so I had him order me volume 1 and 2 of
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
I'll be all caught up on the regular new Conan, which I'm very excited to read. And I'm literally only reading 2 other monthly books. I'm reading Nightwing, which is a lot of fun, really good, and I'm reading that Absolute Batman, which is really cool.
Yeah. I heard good things
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, definitely check that out when the trade of that hits. The biggest selling comic of last year was the #1 issue. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man, on the Conan front. I got all three of those trades. And I I don't go into our office that often in the city anymore. So like I used to go to Midtown, in
Mhm.
the Midtown store, and I didn't want to miss out, so I just had them send them here instead of going into the shop to pick up my subscription.
Yeah, Midtown does a cool thing, the Midtown Comics website, where you can buy it and they can mail it to you, or you can buy it and you can go there and pick it up, which is
Yeah,
kind of cool. But yeah, I think that they started that during like the pandemic or whatever, maybe before that. But
yeah,
crazy, man. Yeah, I'm enjoying reading comics again. And there's one other comic I wanted to point out. Um, what do you call Black Canary has this limited series, right?
uh-huh.
And it's just really, really well drawn. And it's about the whole limited series is about her and Lady Shiva, which is another female, character in the DC universe. Um, and it's by Tom King and Ryan Sook, and the whole thing is about they're doing an ultimate like fight, basically, like hand-to-hand combat in the
Oh,
ring,
cool.
and it's just really like good and like hard and like kind of dark and very interesting. So I'm kind of really enjoying the hell out of that. I just like how it, like, I don't know, like ever see like certain modern art, it has this very kind of like anime look to it, or it looks like it was drawn by a computer,
Yeah, I'm
right?
not into that at all. Yeah,
Well, I mean, this is drawn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could just tell a lot of care went into this. The artist Ryan Sook, he's on Instagram. I love his page. Um, he actually just did this really cool art, Mike, that I think I showed you, of Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Sutherland.
yeah, yep,
And
yep.
yeah, and he did Drive too, from the movie Drive. It's just really cool. The name of the miniseries is called The Best of the Best. And yeah, really interesting. I think it's like 6 or 8 issues, or up to issue 4. Again, what made me just pick it up was looking at the covers. I was like, wow, this looks like a book I need to check out, because the art is like calling me. It was a kind of, you know what I'm saying? That
Oh
ever happened
yeah,
to you?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely, man,
Mhm.
definitely. And especially these days, since a lot of this art looks computer generated and like
Yeah.
and or like that anime style, that manga
Mhm.
style, which I'm just not into it, man. Like I like, yeah, there's like certain Japanese comics I like, but generally I'm not a fan of a lot of that
Mhm.
stuff. you know. Like I like some of it, but generally it's I'm very middling on that kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a new DC kind of Justice League book that I got number one of, and then I'm like looking through it, and I'm just like, I hate the way this looks. So I didn't go back to it. It just looks so fake. Like I don't know how they're putting together some of these books, but I'm like, there's no way this is sat and drawn by a regular person with a pencil. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but anyway, yeah, Black Canary Comics is a lot of fun. After a long time away from comics, it's good to check them out again. And now there's cool Conan stuff. So good time to be reading some books.
Let's shout out our brothers and we'll hit our voicemail for this week and then
Yes,
we'll get going.
yes.
All right,
Yeah.
so kicking things off every other Monday, we've got Brandon Legion's Horrorwolf 666, and Brandon has also added a Friday drop of kind of like a staff pick, if you will. So that's
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah. On Tuesday, we have Into the Necrosphere, the greatest metal podcast in the land, featuring our pal Jackie Smith. For all your extreme metal needs, hit that subscribe button to Into the Necrosphere. What about Wednesday?
Wednesday is Double Shot Wednesday. We've got Everything Went Black, which is my podcast that I started many moons ago and still going strong, as well as Iblis Manifestations, brought to you by Cheyenne of the great band Trivax.
Very cool. On Thursday, we have the Necromaniacs podcast, the one you're listening to right now. Make sure you are subscribed. You don't want to miss an episode of the greatest horror podcast in the world. And on Friday, you don't want to miss Spitball Media with my brother John Draper and his co hosts B Show Brian and Shaheen, bringing you the best in entertainment, in television, in film, the streamers. They get into comic books too. They get into wrestling sometimes. All sorts of fun stuff. Make sure you're listening to Spitball Media. What's that weekend looking like, Mike Hill?
Well, Saturday is a day off for everyone. You know, after all this hard work that we're putting in, we take Saturdays off. And then, so you guys are on your own, which is a good thing. You know, now that we're getting into springtime here, go out,
Mm-hmm.
enjoy yourself, maybe do a hike, take a walk out in the woods if you're close to nature or something like that. Because on
Yes.
Sunday, the sinister minister, Carl Hikera, comes at you with Soul Knocks. Carl puts episodes out Thursdays and Sundays, and that's I don't know how he does two a week. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Very, very ambitious young man there. Um, we're doing our Darkness Weaves collaboration, which we're covering the work of Carl Edward Wagner. And right now we're working on the Kane stories. We finished the first novel, Bloodstone, and now we're doing the Dark Crusade. And every other month we switch between Everything Went Black and Soul Knocks and who puts out the episode. And that's it, man. That's a full week of entertainment.
It sure is. These are your horsemen of the podcasting apocalypse, and make sure you support all of our pals. This week we have a phone call, right, Mike?
That's right, we do. So if you want to call us, you can hit us at 908-913-0782, 908-913-0782. And Mike from Pennsylvania returns.
Hey, Necro Hoods. It's Mike from Telford. Just driving home from work today. It's Friday. I got to go in tomorrow. I got several things to say to you, and my mind has just gone completely blank. Clute. We watched Clute thanks to you fellas. Great movie. Really creepy fucking atmosphere. Days later, my lady and I would be bringing up things from it, so it was pretty affecting. It actually made us also watch the Parallax View, which was really cool also. That was like, what do they call that, the Paranoia trilogy or something? That movie was totally fucking paranoid. And I'm not even that big of a fan of Warren Beatty, and he was excellent in that. So two recommendations for you. The Possession of Joel Delaney. Not Pat Delaney, Joel Delaney. It just came out on Vinegar Syndrome. It's early 70s. As you could probably tell, it's a fucking possession movie. Is that before Exorcist? I think, I don't know. It was really cool. Shirley MacLaine's in it, Perry King, and I'd never heard of it before. And I don't really want to give shit away. It was shot in New York City, so it's real, early 70s, 71 New York City. So it's real gritty. It has to do with like Puerto Rican voodoo. And last night we watched a thing called Moon of the Wolf. It's actually a TV movie from the 70s with David Jansen, the fugitive in it. And it was, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's corny. It's early 70s TV movie, but it was actually really affecting. I thought, some of the effects were, it's not a classic, but it's worth watching if you like that type of shit, and I know you guys do. So, and that was actually kind of a different spin on a werewolf tale. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go get some grub with my lady and have a beer. I gotta get up 5 a.m. Otherwise, I'd rip this fucking town up. All right, fellas. I'll be talking to you. Look forward to the episode. Argento. I love hearing you guys talk about Argento. That bird with the crystal plumage fucking episode was awesome. And that movie is a classic. As you know, we all agree on that. So I'm more into Dario's supernatural shit. But as far as the Giallos go, that one, it's a classic. It's a 5 for sure. All right, dudes. Later.
Great hearing from you, Mike. Man,
Oh
working
yeah.
on Saturdays kind of sucks, I have to say. Unless that's your regular day, your regular scheduled day. But yeah, dude,
True.
Clute, I'm glad that Clute can has livened things up a bit for you and your lady with as far as discussion goes. It's a very I might watch it again, man. I might do like all three of those films in one night. They got Clute,
Yeah, I have to
Parallax
round
View.
out the Paranoia trilogy. It looks really fucking cool. And yes, I had a feeling you would enjoy Clute, and so would a lot of listeners if they haven't seen it yet, especially our Giallo fans. It is top-notch Giallo in many ways, actually. And glad you enjoyed the Bird episode. It's such a great movie, and it was a really fun episode to do. And yeah, I think when you and I really love the subject matter, I think you get the better podcast, huh?
No, I agree. I agree completely. Uh, the other two films you mentioned, The Possession of Joel Delaney and Moon of the Wolf, sound interesting. I tried to find Possession of Joel Delaney streaming, but it's on YouTube, so you can watch the film. But I
Oh wow.
probably will, if depending on how I like it or not. I see that there's Vinegar Syndrome is putting out a pretty sick like edition of it. And Moon of the Wolf sounds interesting. And you know what, man? 70s TV movies, I kind of back them, man, if you think about
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the times they're they're fucking great. So,
Mm.
you know, yeah, they both sound very intriguing to me. I mean, and if Vinegar Syndrome took the time to put it out as a physical release, there's quite, the possibility of it being quite good is there.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as TV movies go, there's a Trilogy of Terror, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark,
Sure.
Bad Ronald. Those are
Bad
all TV
Ronald,
movies.
Salem's Lot, right?
Sounds Lot. That's right. The miniseries, TV miniseries. Yeah,
Of course. I mean,
yeah.
it's so much good stuff. I mean, you know, hell, The Night Stalker itself,
There you
70s
go.
TV horror, top of the heap.
Yeah.
Cool to maybe do one of the Night Stalker films, Mike, maybe.
You
Because
know,
yeah.
that idea has definitely crossed my mind too.
Mhm.
Because Carl Hakara is a very big fan of that too, and we would talk about the Night Stalker quite a bit amongst ourselves. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, so let's figure something like that out for
Like
sure.
the original was two. There's the original, and then there's the Night Strangler. So they're both pretty cool. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. But thanks so much for the call, brother.
So this brings us to this week's feature film, which was brought. I wouldn't say it's brought to our attention, but it was underscored in last week's caller,
Hmm.
Daniel from Melbourne. So he mentioned Xtro, but it's been something that's been under discussion for quite a while. It seems like is talking about this movie.
Yes, the movie. It's come up over the years, um, and it's a movie that I've said that like I saw only once as a child. And there was that one particular scene in this movie that I think a lot of people come away with for the rest of their life. And that's kind of what I based, what I framed this movie around for so long. And getting to watch it again from start to finish for the first time in, oh, I don't know, 40 plus years or 40 years. Oh yeah, so much to say. So much to say.
Yeah, me too. I also watched this as a young kid, VHS, like at that
Mhm.
time. My mom was always a big horror fan, so we always rented horror movies. And it was one of those we would just go to the V8 the video store and rent two movies. And we just would in reality, we worked our way through the entire horror section, man. We would rent
Yeah.
like straight up two movies a night and whatever was there, like Pieces, like Xtro, Evil Dead, like any of that stuff. It didn't matter. We just rented it and we watched it. And this was one of those movies, and I thought it was like a wild, scary movie back then. Yeah,
Yes. And we are talking about, here we go, kids, the 1983 gem, Xtro.
yeah. Directed by Harry Bromley Davenport, who I think he's known for this. Like he's like this is like
Mhm.
what he's known for is Xtro and I guess the sequels too.
Yes, parts two and three, which I've never seen either one of those. So we'll get
I
into that too.
Yeah. Uh, Screenplay was by Davenport, along with Michael Perry, Ian Cassie, and Robert Smith. Not the guy from The Cure, though. I don't think.
We don't think so because, hey, this says these are Brits. So who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah.
So maybe Robert Smith and the Cure was involved. It's 86 minutes long, so it's a you know lean and mean, man.
Mm.
Yeah. Released 1983.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Cast. We've got Philip Sayre as Sam Phillips, Bernice Steggers as Rachel Phillips, who looks a whole lot like Claire Higgins from Hellraiser, if I might
Oh
add.
my God, I was going to say that.
Yeah,
Dude, a lot like that. Yep.
yeah. I was almost like, is that Julia?
Mm. Yes.
D Danny Brainin as Joe Daniels, Miriam Dabo as Annalise Mercier,
hmm
Simon Nash as Tony Phillips, and Peter Mandel as the clown. I'm gonna give one other credit here, and Sean Crawford as the commando.
Yes, and Miriam Dierbeau, many will remember from the James Bond film, the 87 one, The Living Daylights. And she was, in a bunch of movies and TV stuff. She
Yeah.
was in the Red Shoe Diaries, the
Oh yeah.
1992 erotic film. She definitely did her time on the R-rated cable circuit. Yeah, pretty woman.
So this movie is it's a unique film. I'm going to say
Mm,
that right off the bat.
yes, it
Okay.
sure is.
It's how like a lot of genre films, a lot of especially in the horror world, you can draw direct lines as to what they were trying to either rip off or were influenced by. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And
Oh, totally.
Extra, yeah, of course, there's some stuff that are obviously, maybe you can say Alien, or something like that. But they're really, I don't see this. There's no other movie that really has this kind of vibe to it or plot. You know what I mean?
No, okay, it's low budget, it's early 80s, it's British, but it's horror sci-fi. It's you know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a different animal. There are the movies like this. It came without warning. We covered that on the show, Mike. That's
Yeah.
the
Yep.
kind of like an American horror sci-fi
Yeah.
weirdo movie. But this one, at some point in this film, as we'll discuss, it just really goes off the rails. It just gets bonkers. That's the word I'm going to use probably a few times in this episode. The movie gets bonkers, and I think it gets very ambitious and maybe too ambitious. And on the special effects side, for like 83, it's pretty freaking sick movie. No?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's actually two like iconic scenes in this film. I call them iconic. I mean, in the
Mm,
general world, probably not, but But the thing that got me about this film, and like similar to you, I think I watched this one other time after I was a kid, and
Hmm.
because it was on Shutter for a brief period. I might have watched it on Shutter a couple of years ago. Um, but the whole like sort of telekinetic aspect of it,
Yes.
the father son aspect of it, like there's so many different things going on, and the ending too is there's just a lot of different quirks within this movie. It's not like a straightforward film by any means.
No, it is not. Um, yeah, I mean, again, I think a part of me is like maybe they were kind of going for a bit of an alien cash in and a bit of what was kind of going on at the time. But it just gets really weird, trippy, and dark. That it's I mean it's kind of nothing like Alien or Aliens, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just some of the movie left me almost speechless, Mike Hill.
I mean, for better or for worse. I mean, this movie doesn't succeed 100% of the time, but
Yeah.
I have to say, Davenport put together a very unique, creative movie. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And I'm gonna make that statement right off the bat. So this movie kind of comes in hot, like right away. We got Sam
Yes.
Phillips and his son Tony, and then suddenly there's a bright light, and Sam's abducted by aliens.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like kind
Like
of boom,
immediately. Yes.
immediately. There's no lead up to it. There's no like, oh, I see a light in the sky. It's like they're here and they take Sam and he's gone.
Yes, and then it jumps right after his abduction outside of their cottage home. It jumps 3 years in time, and the kid is looks exactly the same. But we, hey, just suspension of disbelief there. That he's still pretty much the same kid, same actor.
Now, right off the jump here, there's the movie is in its own world right now. So there's, 3 years later, the ship returns and plants a seed in the forest. Okay. And
Mhm.
out of this seed, this alien creature develops. And it's now this creature, I think, is pretty cool looking, man. It's like one of the
Yeah,
scariest aliens I've seen, aside from maybe the xenomorphs, you know what I mean?
there is a moment early on, right, where the car is passing, and they show the alien like in the road. And that is a creepy scene, right? That with the headlights in it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
a little quick aside, that image shows up in a lot of false UFO sighting videos.
No, really?
Yes, sir.
That's great.
I've watched, I mean, I'm all about like late night viewings on YouTube of like, alien abductions and alien sightings and things like that. And
Mm,
I was watching one night, and I was like, holy shit, no, man, this is the fucking Xtro right here. They literally used
wow.
that. They like colorized it so it looked like like night vision or something like that. And it was like, no, no, come on, man, you got to do better than that, man. This is right out of the Xtro movie. So
Well, they have the luxury now of like, millions of young people who have not seen this movie, so they're just kind of stealing from something that hasn't been seen yet. But if you're a hardcore horror maniac, you have seen this movie. That's the thing.
yeah, yeah, and it's like a really cool looking alien. Like it just like it just has like this look to it, which is like creepy and like otherworldly, you know?
Yeah. And I believe they use some kind of contortionist
Yeah.
for that particular scene and for a couple of the other scenes where you see the alien like that because of the way the body is. It's not normal.
So it's nighttime. The alien is on the side of the road and it's hit by this couple. And you know, so it gets struck by this car. And then the alien impregnates the woman, like the lady in the
Well,
couple.
yeah. Well, actually, after he takes care of the first, two people, he impregnates a woman in a nearby cottage because he's kind of on the prowl, I
Yeah.
believe,
And
right? Yeah.
that's like a creepy ass scene too, man. Like he's got this like
Yes.
weird phallic appendage that comes out
Hmm.
and connects to her and you get what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't have to read. You do not have to read between the lines.
he ends up killing that woman basically, and the woman is laying on the floor. And then we cut to the scene that this movie is mainly known for in horror circles, where a grown man comes out of a woman's womb. And again, the special effects pretty damn good for 1983, Mike. No?
Absolutely. When I was a kid, I couldn't believe my eyes, man. And even to
Yeah.
this day, it's like, whoa, this is like, it's very effective. And
Mm.
yeah, so it's definitely it's a visceral scene, let's put it that way. So Sam washed himself off and then he steals the other guy's clothes,
Hmm.
which somehow fit him, and then he's off.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sam's wife, Sam has Sam and Tony, they're father and son, and his wife, uh, Anna,
Hmm.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
not Anna,
Rachel. Rachel.
Rachel. Yeah,
Yeah,
Rachel,
Rachel.
the Claire Higgins character. She has taken up with it looks like a significantly younger man.
Yes, Joe Daniels, who's American. And then, oddly enough, they're in an apartment, yet they have an au pair living with them, a French woman
Yeah, the
played by
French lady.
Mariam Debeau. Yes, uh, Annalise. And the apartment doesn't even look that big. So it's very strange. It's a strange setup, right?
Yeah, and Joe is a photographer,
Uh-huh.
like shoots and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, so Sam comes back into their life, man. And
Yeah.
it's, so after 3 years, of course, there's conflict between the new couple and
Hmm.
Sam, who came out of nowhere, basically.
Yeah. And there's a great scene early on where the young Tony, the son, isn't feeling too well, and his mother goes to check in on him, and she pulls the covers off him. He's completely covered in blood, inexplicit, like for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And the doctor comes over, and he's like, "Yeah, he's fine. We didn't, there's nothing wrong with him." And
And
it's
there's
like
never
your
any
son is covered
explanation.
in blood.
There's never any explanation for that. Like
No,
I actually want to bring that up. It's like there's no connection to any other elements of the story as to why he's covered in blood, but he just is.
yeah, that's it. Adds to the what I will refer to as the dark vibe of this whole movie and the depressing vibe of this movie. It just has an air of depression to it, and all the actors they look very down. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the environment that they're in. We got a kid who's probably severely traumatized by like,
Mhm.
his dad being abducted by aliens in front of his eyes, right?
Mhm.
He's got the mother who lost her husband inexplicably 2 years, 3 years earlier. She's
Mhm.
got some young American guy living with her as her
Boyfriend.
boyfriend. And then there's Joe, the boyfriend, who is with some woman, and then suddenly her long lost husband shows up and they're still married. They didn't get
Mhm.
divorced or anything like that. So
Right, right, right.
and and then there's of course Sam, who knows what the hell is going on through his head. He's been on another planet for 3 years doing and
Yes,
no one, and
yes.
now he's back and he doesn't remember anything. And that's the other thing. He
He
has no
doesn't remember.
memory, or
Mm.
so he claims, that he has no memory of anything that happened to him those previous 3 years.
However, the viewers know that Sam is now an alien demon bloodthirsty killer of sorts. Although, on the outside, he seems like a dad who's just come back to get with mom again and be with his son. It is just the whole thing is just so creepy. Like
Well,
it's so bizarre.
one of the things about this film that, and maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but like part of me thinks like maybe Sam wasn't even really Sam. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Maybe he was like a simulacrum of Sam they sent back to Earth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like unexplained things in this film, and I don't know if that was done for you to like, fill in the blanks or just poor writing or what.
Mhm.
But I can go two different ways with this. It's like, okay, the question always comes up with me. Even when I was a young kid, I thought this too. I was like, what is Sam? Is he he's no longer human, right?
Right.
Is he like some alien human hybrid? They maybe injected him with some sort of alien DNA and modified his body.
That's that's what I would go with.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, look, this movie was trashed into oblivion when it came out, although it did make some coin in America. It did pretty decent. Uh, Siskel and Ebert had a wonderful episode about it that you can watch on YouTube. um, the thing is, there's some interesting ideas here, you know, that I guess maybe couldn't have been fleshed out for whatever constraints, financial, time, who knows. Um, and it's like a who knows what could have been kind of thing, you know. But
Yeah.
I do enjoy it just as it is. I almost
Oh
don't
yeah.
want anything changed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another thing that comes up too is like I was saying, I think maybe it's not even Sam. And there's
Mm,
we'll get to it at the end, but like maybe the whole point of this was to arrive at that point at the end, where he's like this alien that maybe looks like Sam because, let's face it, he claims he doesn't know what happened in those 3 years. And you know, let's back this up again. There's a seed that comes out it's planted in the ground. This
mm,
alien springs from that, impregnates a human, and then
mm.
Sam comes out.
Out of
Okay.
that human, right?
Yeah.
That
So
crazy scene. Yeah.
is he actually Sam or that maybe I'm thinking too much about it. I don't know. But I'd like to know what you guys think. I think that this episode might get a lot of discussion from people. So let me know. Daniel, if
Yeah.
you're listening, and because
Okay.
you're the guy, Daniel from Melbourne. Let me know
Uh-huh.
what your thoughts are on this. Maybe you could call in, and we can go back and forth about this very instance right here, this point.
So dear old dad Sam is being shown around his new place to live with his estranged wife and a wife's boyfriend. And Tony, his son, shows him the snake and blah blah blah. He's got a snake with like snake eggs, which is also very creepy because the kid is very young to be having a snake. Uh, and we cut to a scene where Sam is in the room. He picks up the snake, and I thought he was going to eat the snake right then and there, but no, he starts eating the snake's eggs in this very gross, weird scene. And of course, his young son Tony catches him eating the eggs with this look of horror and disgust on his face and runs out of the apartment. Dad goes chasing him through the streets of London, where he catches up with him, and then he basically just tells his young son that he has these powers and this and that, and he's come from, I forget the whole spiel he gives his son, but basically his son is so young and doesn't care. He just wants to be with his dad, and that he needed those eggs for to live and this and that. And then this is another creepy scene where he kind of starts sucking on his son's neck. Remember
Yeah.
that scene?
Oh yeah, definitely. All sorts of creepy stuff. Now, yeah, during that scene, he tells the son, he's like, if you concentrate on something hard enough, you can make it happen.
Mm,
And that's when we start seeing the toys come to life and the panther and
yes.
like all this stuff,
Mm.
you know.
And the clown and the this and the that. And after he's bitten his son, and his son is now a weirdo Xtro like he is, the son starts to kind of use and manifest his own powers, including to get even with a neighbor woman who killed his snake because the snake escaped after the dad was eating the snake eggs. In another very interesting scene in this movie. So we're going from like aliens to estranged family into just wacko, suspend all disbelief powers, like superpowers that the kid now has due to his dad, where the kid is making these things come to life, including a toy army figure that he dispatches to kill the old lady neighbor.
Yeah.
Yes, folks, everything I'm saying is real, right, Mike?
Yeah, this is all part of the movie, and it's pretty bonkers, like you would say,
Hmm.
So all this
Very
crazy stuff happens, and but Sam and Rachel, they go out to a house, like a farmhouse where they used to live. Now that,
Oh, they're slowly rekindling too,
yeah,
by the way, of course,
it's
folks.
starting
If you
to
didn't
like
see
come
that one
together.
coming, yeah.
Yeah, and old Joe is left out in the cold, it seems like, you know.
Hmm. Yep.
So there's a scene where they're having sex, okay? And you start to see that Sam's skin starts peeling away, and it starts to show that he's not. I'm going to say that he's not actually human. That he's like some other thing. You know?
Yeah, I mean, then there's the yet another scene, like the little bastard. He even has Annalise killed. Annalise takes care of him and does nice things for him as the au pair, and he manages to have her killed. He has her boyfriend killed.
Yeah.
This kid, this is some ungrateful kid, huh?
Well, but Annalise though has she plays a role in this whole thing.
Right. He
Yeah.
cocoons her, right?
Yeah. Yeah. She gets cocooned and somehow produces eggs.
Yeah, like again, a lot unexplained. You're just gonna have to leave a lot of rational shit out on the table. No,
Yeah. Um,
they were high when they were making this movie.
dude, who knows, man? It was a lot of free thinking going on in this movie.
Like what were they like? Again, I mean, apparently there's another ending of this movie that was
Yeah.
filmed.
Yeah, I
That would be
haven't
interesting.
seen that ending.
Yes, it's out there too. You could actually
Yeah.
find it.
I
Um,
actually I located a copy of this, so it's coming. And maybe it has the director's cut ending on it.
but yeah, so Sam and Rachel, the estranged husband and wife are kind of rekindling, and there's like a sex scene, and his face is falling apart. He's got weird shit on his back. Um, and I think his alienness is really kind of slowly starting to come into the play, right? Like his new self, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, so eventually, he's straight up alien at this point. And he killed Joe with like this kind of voice of death that he has, for lack of a better term, is this like
Yeah,
alien
his ears
scream.
bleeding. Hmm.
Yeah. And then Sam and Tony, they enter the light and return back to their alien world.
Yeah, like the ship kind of appears, so to speak, although I'm saying that lightly. It's
Yeah.
more like this huge light
It's
that
like a
appears.
portal. I would say a
Like a
portal.
portal, yeah, a portal.
Yeah.
And that's a creepy scene too, like because Sam and Tony are both kind of looking all fucked up and not really alien looking, but definitely not human looking anymore. And like the mom has to watch all this. She's watched her boyfriend die. She's watched her husband, turn into an alien. A
Annalise is
young
dead.
son is an alien. It's just it's a lot for Rachel. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So she's by herself. All of her loved the people that are important in her life are gone.
Hmm.
And when she comes back to the house, she finds the refrigerator in which Annalise was laying. Well, she wasn't laying them into there. The eggs are being placed in there by the clown
Hmm.
inside the refrigerator. There's a series of eggs in there, and
Hmm.
she picks up one of the eggs, and then this creature bursts out of the egg,
Hmm.
and that's the end of the film. That's one ending.
And basically kills her. And then I guess thus the cycle continues. But yeah, according to Wikipedia, in an alternate ending, Rachel, who's pregnant with Sam's now alien second child, goes to find these eggs that have all hatched. And inside the apartment, there's all these tones of young Tony, her son, clones of young Tony. And they all come up to her and they rub her pregnant belly as she smiles. And that's how it ends. Um, both endings are pretty fucked up, though, huh? I mean,
I
I don't
think
know. They're both pretty dark.
I land with the director's cut ending. I mean, I've never seen that
Mm.
ending personally. I mean, maybe it's in this Blu-ray that's coming,
Mhm.
but that one, that's like some Cronenberg shit right there, man. That's like the Brood. That's like the ending of the Brood, like something, you know?
Yes, it really is. And it's funny you say Cronenberg because he kind of came to mind a bit while I was watching this movie. But I also so did Lucio Fulci did in a way too.
Yep.
Like it almost seems like if somehow Fulci got it really in his head to do sci-fi horror.
Right.
And like crossed with I don't know, just like maybe like some obscure American director who would throw the whole clown and toy soldier thing into the mix, just because like it's just like this weird mishmash of genres kind of happening in this movie that you don't even realize.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you just I still find myself thinking about this film because it's like I want to know what world they're going back to. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
want to know why, like, you know, I don't, once again, I'm sure that I'm overthinking this. Wait, I'm putting too much significance on all this stuff, but like part of me wants to know what the hell the point of it this was. Like why did, you know, was Sam or was he an alien that looked like Sam that had some of his information on what to do and who these people were? And to what end did he come back to Earth? Was it to have these you know, the eggs? Was that to have the Earth become this place where these aliens are going to inhabit now or what? You know, what
Mm.
or with the director's ending, you know, it's like she's pregnant, impregnated. And that makes sense too, because they had sex, right? So it would make sense that she would be pregnant and
With
carrying
the
another
alien. Mhm.
child, some sort of alien child. And that's what I mean. There's all, I find myself thinking about all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I would like some clarity on it. I know it'll never come. I know and there
Mm.
probably was never even that much thought into it as I'm putting it to it. So,
The reception to this movie was like now hilarious at the time. I mean,
dude,
just wild, wild stuff where almost everyone did use the word depressing in almost all the reviews of the film. Roger Ebert panned it, giving it 1 out of 4 stars, calling it ugly,
yeah,
despairing, saying that most exploitation movies are bad, but not necessarily painful to watch. They may be incompetent, but they may be predictable or badly acted or awkwardly directed. But at some level, the filmmakers are enjoying themselves and trying to entertain the audience. Xtro is an exception, a completely depressing, nihilistic film, an exercise in sadness. Movies like this give movies a bad name. Oh
wow.
my God. Um, Stephen Hunter for the Baltimore Sun, the slimiest, wormiest, most nauseating film to come to Baltimore in some time, almost
Hmm.
wholly incomprehensible. What is most depressing about Xtro is that its performances are first rate, especially Steger's, the woman, as a
Yeah.
distraught mom. And the cinematography by John Metcalf displays a good deal of technical finesse. Um, but otherwise, yeah. And TV Guide at the time gave it 0 out of 4
Oh,
stars.
wow. Yeah.
A vile exercise in grotesque special effects. Um, Very funny. All movie guide, pure trash that was made to capitalize on the public interest in ET at the time. That basically presents gory, sexy exploitation movie take on the alien visit from Earth premise. Well, yeah, I mean, I do think that might have been at the forefront of their minds.
Hmm.
This, alien ET by way of hell,
Yeah.
at
I
its
mean, the
true.
guy in Baltimore was a little strong in his opinion there, I thought, you know, like, you
Yes.
know, the slime, come on now, bro. You know, that it's not the worst, slimiest, depraved movie I've seen, honestly. You know, I mean,
Yeah, like
there's that one scene,
total.
there's like maybe two scenes in that film that really are extreme, you know?
Yeah, and this is a movie of where its reputation, I think, is one thing, and then the reality is another. I mean, Jesus Christ, Maniac in 2 years earlier, far more, of a disgustingly brutal film, or 3 years earlier than
Absolutely.
Xtro. I mean, come on now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just funny. I mean, yeah, this was on the video nasty list in Britain, and I can obviously see why. Um, But honestly, it's kind of it is dark and a little depressing, but it's kind of like fun, and you can't take your eyes off it, Mike. No?
I wouldn't say fun, but it's interesting to me. It's like, it's definitely
Okay, not
depressed.
not fun. All
Yeah.
right, it's not that fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, it's like even the fun parts are disturbing though. You know what I mean? It's like the clown and like the big commando guy, you know.
Yeah.
And that's it's disturbing. Like clowns are always disturbing, you know, and it's like very it's very off-putting, let's say, you know. And
It is an off-putting film. Yes.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because it's not you're not going to get the thrills that you get in like a regular horror film. You know what I mean? And you're not going to get like the cool like sci-fi elements that you would get from like an alien movie or ET. Even though I don't really think ET is like relevant to this, but if anything, it's closer to a Cronenberg film.
Hmm. I could see that. I mean, again, to me, the Fulci-esque moments are A, the gross out stuff, and B, just the general weirdness mixed in, right?
Yeah, I can see
With the
that.
horror. Hmm.
I
The
can see that.
dreaminess quality, like, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of some certain Fulci
Yeah.
atmospheres have.
Okay. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a European thing going on. Definitely.
Yes, it definitely does. It definitely does. Now, scoring this film, okay, it's this ranking might be a bit much for some people, but I'm actually giving this a 4 out of 5 stars
Me too, actually.
because because it's it's bonkers, man. This movie's bonkers, and I'm giving it that for its ambition, you know,
Yeah.
and that I'll never forget this movie for the rest of my life. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I I also gave it a 4 out of 5. And it's definitely not for everyone. You know what I mean? Like
No, it's
but
not.
I do encourage people to find this film and watch it. You can watch it on YouTube. It's not streaming anywhere else that I know of.
No, no. Yeah, I watched it. There's very, I mean, I think there's actually a couple of ones to choose from on YouTube. The one I found was a bit different from the link you sent me. And it looked great and it was uninterrupted. And maybe it was a rip from a DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah, I actually used a different link than the one I sent you to. That was like
Hmm.
uninterrupted and it looked pretty good. And
Yeah.
but yeah, as far as like it's not on Shutter anymore and you can't it's hard to find. And physical copies are out there, but I'm not I don't recommend you go and buy one unless you're really into it.
Mm.
But definitely I encourage people to watch it though, for sure, and it's like,
Yes. Yeah.
if you like it, great. It's like if you're not into it, then, what do you want from me? It's up to you. That's on you. I don't hold me responsible for that, but
No
it's,
one else responsible. No, we're
yeah.
just reviewing it and putting it out there. And again, I do want to see the other ones, which I hear pretty much have nothing to do with the first one, even though it is the same director, which is hilarious. God forbid you tell a comprehensive story, but maybe it does. I don't know.
Yeah, they're out there, man. I think I told you maybe even last episode, I was saying like when I was at Chiller one year and the dude at Vinegar Syndrome had Xtro 2. And
Hmm.
I was like, oh, Xtro. And he's like, hold on a second there. Not so fast. He's like, that's Xtro 2. And I was like, ah, okay. And yeah, so Xtro 2 is out there and Xtro 3 is probably out there too.
Yeah, it's like, I could just picture you picking it up and him going, just so you know, it's part two. It's not the one you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I didn't even know they existed until that dude told me that there was a sequel. So there you go.
Exactamundo.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this trip down to early 80s British fare. You never know where you're going to end up here on the Necromaniacs podcast. It could be 70s, it could be 80s, it could be 90s. But yeah, it was cool to cover this movie. It's a movie from our collective childhood that we had not seen in ages. So fun to do the rewatch.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Take care, everybody.